This is a pawpaw. Oh man. Where Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana meet, an ancient hill fort overlooks the confluence of the Great Miami and Ohio rivers. The earthworks built by the Adena and Hopewell cultures may be over 2,000 years old. We're going to hike the trail through the earthworks and get a feel for what makes this place special. The site near Cincinnati is part of the Shawnee Lookout Hamilton County Park. The entrance is at 2008 Lawrenceburg Road, North Bend, Ohio. It's open from dawn to dusk. There is an $8 daily motor vehicle fee or a $16 annual fee. This is the Archaeological Museum. Due to COVID, the main exhibit is closed, but the lobby and the restrooms are open. The lobby has a map and a timeline of ancient cultures. Follow the road all the way to the end, and you'll be at the Miami Fort Trail parking lot. The trail is about 1.5 miles long and takes an hour to, they say, an hour and a half to walk. It's a weekend, so the Miami Fort Trail is pretty busy, and dogs are allowed on the trail as long as they're on a leash. So right out of the parking lot, it's pretty steep. But it's gravel, and it's pretty well maintained. How you doing? Does this trail really take about an hour to go all the way around?
I don't think so.
Don't think so?
Yeah, like we do maybe with our dog.
Yeah.
But here's the tricky thing. If you continue straight, you go to the outlook where the bridge is and you can see the three Kentucky, you'll be in Ohio and you can see.
Yeah, yeah.
Then when you come up, if you go left, it will bring you down and you can go to the left and go out, or you can just go in and out. But
Okay.
it doesn't take an hour.
Great. Thanks.
We can do it under that.
So in Ohio, there's a lot of buckeye trees. I have a feeling that's what these are. I'm reasonably sure that these are buckeye leaves. I don't know, I'm not seeing any buckeyes on the ground. If I do see some, I'll pick them up. So it turns out those aren't buckeyes. The leaves look pretty similar, but it wasn't until later on the walk that I realized that how wrong I was about it. We'll get to that, but this is what buckeye leaves and what buckeyes actually look like. Yeah, it got pretty steep right here. Tree. Miami Fort was first described by the Reverend James Smith, 1795, and was surveyed in 1817 by Charles Short, Squire and Davis. Surveyed and mapped the area again in 1847. Some small camp and habitation sites have been discovered within the walls, but the original builders of the fort probably lived in the valleys below. The purpose of the fort was probably ceremonial rather than military. Please help preserve the fort, mounds, and habitation sites by staying on the trail. Okay, entering the fort. Miami Fort was included in the 1847 book Ancient Monuments of the Mississippi Valley by Squire and Davis. If you've never heard of Ancient Monuments of the Mississippi Valley, or if you've never heard of Squire and Davis, you should really look it up. The book is pretty amazing. It was the first book published by the Smithsonian. So there's one of the mounds in the south, or I guess I'm on the west side of the fort. This would be the north side over here. The thing I like about the book is that it's filled with maps, and the maps are that old style. It's just fun to look at them. Plate 9, number 2, fortified hill at the mouth of the Great Miami River, Hamilton County, Ohio. So it looks like from the old survey. Let's see. Old survey. This is where the hill, or where the trail comes in, which means they kind of breached that part of the wall, which would have been there. That's over here. And this section is going to be this part of the wall. It looks like it's about 8 or 10 feet tall, but there's a whole nother area, another elevation. I think maybe I'm just in the depressed area. I think that what we're looking at is the wall directly in front of me. And then they took the earth from this section, and it's sort of a ditch now. And then there's another plateau over there. I see a bunch of black walnuts on the ground. Black walnut. They're inside of these case things. I'm not going to break it open because it would get my shoes all covered. At first I thought maybe I was looking at buckeyes, but I don't see that. That's a walnut for sure. That one might be a buckeye. That might be a buckeye. No, that wasn't a buckeye. That was a black walnut. Like a lot of trails in the Midwest, this one's pretty heavily wooded. So you might not have a lot of clear views when the leaves are on the trees. And the Park Service has put up some information plaques, so you got something to read along the way. Prehistoric Indians used plant fibers to weave moccasins, baskets, and twine. It is possible they used some of the same materials the historic Indians used, such as inner bark of red mulberry, slippery elm, pawpaw, and fibers of Indian hemp, milkweed, and stinging nettle. So there's probably a spring around here. The old map showed a spring probably where this path intersects with the next one. And it looks a little marshy down there. So yeah, there's probably some little bit of a spring. What I'd like to find out is this a limestone cap on top of shale, and that's why this hill even exists? So here's a little bit of confusion. There is another ancient earthwork, and it is built on top of a hill near Hillsboro, Ohio, and it's called Fort Hill. It's actually a limestone cap on top of shale, and the shale was eroded away, shale being a soft stone, and the limestone was left, which left the flat area at the top for the earthworks to be built on later. "200 feet above the Great Miami River." Can't really get a good feel for it, but you can definitely see how the plain is cut. There's a whole other set of hills over there, and it's probably Indiana. Which hopefully we'll get over here to the view of everything. Be able to see the Ohio and the Great Miami. That was just a little spur. And if the leaves weren't on the trees, it'd probably be a lot easier to see the view. But let's get back to the Miami Fort Hill, this hill. The hill is unique for more than just the earthworks. Sometime around 750,000 years ago, glacial till was deposited. There were 2 more glacial periods since then that wiped out evidence of what is called the pre-Illinois Glacier.
Pretty good.
The hill somehow avoided both being bulldozed by the later glaciers and being washed away by their massive meltwaters.
Again, really, really hard to tell, but that cliff drops off remarkably fast. I bet it's probably not straight out 30 yards maybe, and then it drops down. Man, what I can see, it looks like it's dropped down about at least 50 feet and 30 yards. That is really steep. Well, I can't necessarily say I see the wall on this side. I think I'm on the wall. I mean, it's so steep right here. It's almost like there isn't any need to have a wall. There's a little bit of a drop to the left. Maybe that's the wall. I don't know. I feel like this would be the more appropriate place for a wall if you're building a fort 2,000 years ago. It really drops. There should be an elevation of about 700 feet above sea level right here. And the Ohio River is about 450 feet above sea level. So this should be a cliff face with rocks, according to the old survey from the 1840s. Whew. Now you can get an idea how steep it is. And that's actually just down to one terrace, to one level. I'll pan down here a little bit. That is, again, I would say about 30 feet and about, I'm sorry, 30 yards, it drops more than 30 yards down. That is a lot steeper than a 45-degree drop. Okay, so there should be another mound straight ahead. This is the west wall of the fort. When I come back, I'm going to go back that way, but I'm going to look for the overlook, which is down this way. It's an overlook of the Ohio River.
So let's talk about the glaciers again. So till is created when the glacier is scraping the ground and growing. And it's like a conveyor, and the till is the area that's being broken up. Today, it's basically mixed gravel and sand, and that sure seems like that's something that would erode pretty quickly.
You know what? I said these were buckeyes, but I'm not sure. Maybe they're pawpaw trees. From this vantage point, the expansive flooded bottomlands below, known as Oxbow Wetlands, provide a staging, resting, and feeding area for thousands of migratory waterfowl in the spring and fall. A total of 270 species of birds have been recorded for this major wildlife habitat area. And the leaves are blocking it, so we can't really see it. There's a terrace down there. Again, it's probably about 20 yards out, and more than that's probably a 45-degree drop from here.
The lower levels of this hill are Ordovician limestone, so it's basically 450 million year old limestone. And so the hill is ultimately supported by that, but up at the top is till.
It's first week in October, and temperature is 66 degrees Fahrenheit. For anybody who's not using Fahrenheit, I don't know what that is in Celsius. But long sleeves, yeah, probably could have got away with short sleeves. I'm wearing shorts. Oh, here's another mound. So I guess that's a burial mound. I probably would have found out more about that in the exhibit, which was closed.
I want to talk about the glaciers one more time, and something that is really interesting. Apparently, the Great Miami River Valley,
on the ground.
It has existed longer than the Ohio River Valley,
down here.
or at least the section of the Ohio River that is just south. While the exact course of the rivers 300,000 years ago isn't known, it's suspected that they flowed to the north,
Difference in the sun.
and it wasn't until after the Wisconsin glacier melted that the channel that is just to the south of this hill, the channel of the Ohio River just to the south of this hill, was finally cut to allow the river to flow south of here.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. You sure you guys don't want the river in the background? Oh, the sun, yeah. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Smile.
Okay. Okay, we'll try.
All right, there you go.
Thank you.
So directly in front is the Ohio River, and This is the Great Miami River Valley over here. Well, I could go that way, but it's not really well marked, so nope. It's also not a gravel road. So when we get close to where the fort entrance is, I think that this side is actually the real fort, original fort entrance. And the reason why I say that is because there on the original survey map, there's a little extra bit of material that has been lifted up, sort of like a gate to force people to have to go left or right. And that really means you couldn't come straight in that entrance. You'd have to come in from an angle. You'd have to turn. It's one of the things that is somewhat common on the hill forts, is how the entrances are designed to make people they can't come in straight. They have to go around something. So I'm coming up here and I'm not seeing that. I know this is the corner. And I don't see another small hill. It would have had to have been right here. But there's nothing but a cliff right here and a marker. Okay, I'm going to try the time lapse or the time warp mode now instead of the standard mode.
It is thought that the burial mounds are built by the Adena culture, and the more extensive earthworks by the later Hopewell culture. Imagine building the walls of this fort with Stone Age tools. That's 1,000 yards of wall, 10 feet tall. 500,000 cubic feet of earth were moved with flattened sticks and woven baskets. I suppose if this upper surface is glacial till, maybe that made it easier, but 500,000 cubic feet is a huge undertaking.
Okay, so those are pawpaw trees after all, and this is a pawpaw. Oh, there's a few more of them over here if you're still looking.
Oh, okay.
They're not as green as this one, but they're just kind of scattered around. Oh man.
Try it?
Yeah.
Unique, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like you said, mango. It's kind of like a mango.
Yeah. A little
And
banana.
Yeah.
I thought it tasted like a pina colada.
Yeah. Wow. There's There's one over there that's kind of small. There's one here that's kind of brownish. There's another green one right there.
If it's rotten or not.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them here, yeah.
Yeah, this one doesn't look good in the middle, but... Oh, wait, maybe it's okay.
Those are seeds.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Now you've tried it.
Thanks. Hmm. Wow. It's kind of like a little bit of a pineapple leafness and a little bit of a banana-ness and a little bit of a mango. Okay, seeds. Don't want the seeds. So those weren't Buckeye plants, they were pawpaws.
Would you believe me if I said banana pudding grows on trees? But that's exactly what a pawpaw is. A yellow, mushy goo inside of a green and kind of sometimes black skin that I can only describe as better than bananas. If you ever get a chance, come here in late September. You gotta find a pawpaw.
Well, this looks like it will be a ceremonial area for sure. Up until here, I didn't think there was going to be anything that seemed ceremonial. But yeah, this does.
Well, thanks for joining me on my hike to Miami Fort, and that's the first time I ever had a pawpaw.